I just finished a lifestyle experiment. For 2 weeks, I let my body call the shots. My body got first priority. How did it go? I'm going to let my body and my mind tell you. So, how were these 2 weeks for both of you?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what the point was. We didn't accomplish much, and we wasted a lot of time.
Well, I really enjoyed it. Oh, brother. The mind can get very, what's the word? Aggressive.
I'm aggressive. Whatever.
So I usually just end up taking orders, do what I'm forced to do. So these 2 weeks were, such a nice change.
You know, if we slow down to listen to what you need all the time, we'll never get anything done. Do you see the world we live in? Everyone is passing us by while you lounge on the couch. Plus, we've done fine up to this point. We've been on the planet. What's the date today?
October 22nd.
We've been on the planet 54 years, 2 months, and 2 days. We've accomplished a lot. A lot. Why change something that's not broke?
Look, I know you're smart.
Well, that's true.
Okay, so you just said we've been on the planet for 54 years. There needs to be some adjustments.
Why? 54 is like the new 24.
54 is not the new 24. I mean, look at her. Does that look like fun, being all anxious and afraid like that? And that's how she is all the time. All I know is I want to flourish in my later years, and it's not going to happen if you push me to the point of exhaustion day in and day out.
Look, the body is here to service me, the mind, okay? We make the decisions that allow us to flourish in all of that stuff.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind me saying, that sounds a little selfish, making it all about you.
I'm not selfish, okay? I'm here to protect us. This is about survival.
Yeah, but if the goal in life is just to survive, I don't get the point.
Why don't you tell me a positive you got out of the experiment?
Well, I felt seen and heard for the first time in so long. It sucks to get ignored all the time. I was kind of surprised how often you checked in on me. I didn't expect you to ask me if we should spend time with a certain person. We peed when I wanted to pee. I didn't have to wait so long. We ate closer to when I first got hungry. I also realized how strong I am. It's not easy to hang in there when you're being treated like a machine a lot of the time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I understand.
You guys are lucky that I didn't shut this experiment down.
You tried.
Yeah, you did.
I do wish you had listened to me more, but I understand it's hard when you're dealing with... But we did really well during the day, didn't we? Of course, as soon as I got tired and she took over and ramped us up, we haven't done enough today. Once that happens, no one listens to...
It's not all about you, you know.
We did take some important baby steps. So, high five for baby steps. You know, even though it hurts my feelings to be ignored so much, you know what I realized? I'd like to work with the mind. I think it would be cool to collaborate instead of compete like only one of us can win. I mean, after all, we all have the same goal.
We do?
Well, don't you want to feel safe and happy and healthy and live with ease? I mean, imagine.
I'll consider it. As you can see, It was a pretty emotional 2 weeks as far as the conversations I had with my mind and my body. The reason I did this experiment is because I have burned out a couple of times in my life, and even though I was younger then, it was not cute. And so I started worrying when I felt myself headed in that direction again. This 2-week experiment was to practice listening to the needs of my body more so I could incorporate those behaviors into my daily life and hopefully avoid burnout. I continued to do regular activities, otherwise I wasn't going to be able to see where the challenges might be. And there were challenges. As we all know, there are things in life that we have to do whether we want to do them or not. And I really wanted to work with those conflicts. I didn't want it to make it be like, I'm going to ignore everything else and just listen to my body. My main discovery was, this is really hard. I expected to have these like profound breakthroughs at the end of the 2 weeks, and that didn't happen. The bulk of this experiment ended up being me learning how to reconnect with my body's needs on a deeper level and figure out what exactly those needs were. In modern life, the body gets so used to being wound up that it starts to think like wound up is normal. So what I found is there's this unraveling that has to happen before you can even start to tap into the wisdom that your body has and hear those deeper needs. If you want to try listening to your body more, I'm going to share a few things I discovered during my experiment that you can try. My one recommendation is that they are best done as baby steps. Because we live in a society where
everybody's always going,
when you try to change too many things at once in this regard, it becomes almost like a culture shock to your system. Okay, so the first thing that we all struggle with, and that you are using right now as you watch me, is our devices. My friend Christine asked me a very interesting question when I told her about this experiment. She asked me if I thought our bodies would want to be in front of a computer or phone if they had a choice. It took me a minute because I had to disconnect from the fact that my life relies on devices. And so not using them was really hard to picture. But once I got past that, I had to acknowledge that, hell no, my body doesn't want to be in front of a computer or a phone, like ever. Okay, so it's not a revelation that the body-device dynamic is problematic, but I do think it's always good to be reminded of this sketchy relationship we have so that we can stay curious about finding small ways to make it a little healthier. Here's an example from my life. My computer is like a magnet. Once I'm on it, it's really hard to pull me away. But here's the thing I discovered about my relationship with it. If, and it's a big if I can get it turned off at some point during the day, I probably won't turn it back on. I found that fascinating. Anytime I have managed to turn off my computer at a decent hour, I somehow lose the urge to turn it back on. So that's a great thing to know. Now I have a specific thing to work on, which is finding the easiest way to psychologically press the off button on my computer. Because now I know once I do that, I'm good. Okay, so the next area is the literal relationship with your body. The interactions that you have with your body is probably one of the easiest places to start practicing putting your body first. In Ayurveda, which is one of the oldest holistic healing systems, they believe there are 13 urges you should never suppress or force. And these urges are the perfect place to practice putting your body first. So here they are in no particular order. Peeing, pooping, farting, ejaculating, vomiting, sneezing, burping, yawning, hunger, thirst, tears for sadness or happiness, sleep, and the urge to pant with exertion. I mean, that is an array of things you can work with that at least some of those you do every day.
The other thing I noticed about listening to my body is it's not always like a whole body thing. Sometimes it's just one part of the body that needs attention. Like when I'm on my computer, my eyes usually get tired first. The rest of my body is like, no, we're good. But my eyes are like, we need a break. So what I came to realize is, I have to make decisions when putting my body first based on whatever part of my body is most in need. Okay, so one final place to look at that's interesting is pace. Modern life is fast, right? We're all going on hamster wheels, trying to get things done as quickly as possible. The place I became aware of pace was on my daily walks. My walks are a way for me to unwind, but they're also something that I view as a form of exercise. And what I realized is the exercise part is impacting how fast I walk. Because when I think exercise, I think, oh God, we have to pick up the pace. We have to get the heart going a little bit. But during the 2-week experiment, I would check in with my body at the beginning of each of my walks. And what I discovered was there were quite a few days where my body just wanted to walk slow. What was great about this is it added a level of enjoyment to my walks that I sometimes miss out on, because when I'm going at the exercise pace, sometimes my body doesn't want to do that. And so I'm creating stress in my body and it's not allowing me to enjoy my surroundings. I'm more focused on, the discomfort in my body. Now, you can apply this to any task you might be doing by simply choosing to do it slower. See how it feels. So, as you know from my last video on freedom, if you haven't checked it out, you can check it out up there. I have a very antagonistic relationship with time and calendars and deadlines. I don't know, we just don't work well together sometimes. That became even more clear during this experiment. So for example, say I'm editing a video and I make my goal for the day to finish a first cut. That is like kryptonite when I'm trying to make listening to my body the priority, because inevitably the cut takes longer than I thought it would. And now I'm all in on finishing that first cut because that was the goal. And so I override all other needs in my life for that goal. It also doesn't help that finishing things is kind of like a drug for me. I don't know if you can relate to this. I get such a high off of something being done. And so I will work tirelessly to get to that hit at the end of a task. It is a powerful hit. The way I'm working with this is to make time block goals instead of finish this part goals. So instead of the goal being to finish the first cut today, it would be work on the first cut for 3 hours today. And my final suggestion is a mindset practice around trust. I think part of the reason modern life has gotten so hectic is because we don't trust that we can slow down and still be taken care of, right? We view rest as a direct attack on our ability to survive. So if you're tired, exhausted, or burnt out and you're thinking about listening to your body more, you know your body is going to ask you to rest, or at the very least, slow the fuck down. And then that triggers the survival response, which stops us from doing the thing that our body desperately needs us to do. It's a lose-lose, vicious cycle situation that the patriarchy and capitalism have done a fantastic job of brainwashing us into believing is true. Brené Brown said recently that it takes courage to say yes to rest and play in a culture where exhaustion is seen as a status symbol. We all do it, right? Oh, I've been so busy, I've been running, and then the friends came into town, and then I had to do this, and then the dog got sick. Yeah, we all do it. And I will acknowledge it's hard to get away from how modern life functions unless you go off into the woods and completely disconnect, which most of us aren't trying to do. So the invitation is to reject the belief that in order to get ahead, you have to push your body hard. That's what the patriarchy needs you to believe. The patriarchy wants you living above the neck because this is where they can better control us. Fear lives in the mind. So our opportunity is to give the finger to the status quo by dropping down into our bodies, finding home in our bodies. Because trust lives in your body. And it's all about trust. Love you.